shit in to log in.
You know how embarrassed I was when I was up there and at the party with me and Terry was up there at the party with Lala, and she was on the mic, and he was like, "Now, what's your name on Instagram?" And I was like, Spaz the Great official.
Yeah.
I'm like SPAZZTHE. I'm like, oh, I gotta change this shit.
That's like 29 letters right there.
That's facts. So yeah, change this shit. Great official.
All right, so y'all, we officially. Yo, everybody hear me? Everybody good?
Yep. Yeah.
All right, we're officially live right now. Welcome to another episode, New Era 410 Podcast. It's your host, Mason. I got my co-host, Neil, and my other co-host, Todd Q. And you know we had to bring special guests today, you know what I mean? Y'all know how we do drum roll. Oh my God, SpazzTheGreat. Yes, sir.
Yeah.
I had to put the ladies down.
Yeah.
I was finna eat the whole bag.
I'm feeling today, man. You know it's definitely a pleasure to have you on here with us.
Of course, this is my this my area right here.
Yeah, and I heard you mention a couple things about heated debates. You know, there's a lot of different personalities on this show, and I just want to let everybody know. Feel free to let it fly, my guys. Feel free. There's no holding back. It's okay. Try not to say any words. You feel me? About a certain community. Try not to say any racial slurs, and we good. So I definitely want to I want to spark this off, and I want to get right to it. DeAndre Hopkins is now a free agent. Let's start with you, Spaz. Let's start with you, man. You rock the show off, bro. What's your thoughts?
What specifically? Whether I think he should come here, you know, I mean, where I think he should go, what's a good fit?
Both.
Where's here?
Where's here? Well, okay. So I'm gonna give you two. I'm gonna give you two different answers. One is my personal. The second is a business choice. All right. So, personally, of course, I want to see him come to Baltimore. Right. I want to see him come to Baltimore because I feel like, well, not only is, but first of all, he said that Baltimore is one of the 5 destinations where he would want to go. Right? He said Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, Patrick Mahomes, et cetera, right? Now, I think that he would benefit our team a lot in terms of schematically because of what we have on the outside. Receiver has been something I've been complaining about for the past few years because we've never had stability at that position. It's always been maybe one guy that's like past his prime, and the Ravens are only known for signing veteran receivers beyond their prime. While they're still able to be productive, they're not exactly what they once were. I still think that DeAndre Hopkins is in a space in his career where he can still be a primetime receiver in the NFL. The issue that I run into is, especially when I have, you know, me receiving fan mail and stuff from my fans on my page, is that they say that we already have enough receivers, and that's inaccurate. I guess it's depending on how you view it, but here's how I look at it. You have Odell Beckham Jr., but he's coming off of a year not playing in the NFL. The last time we seen him on the football field was the Super Bowl with a Rams play, where he tore his Achilles for the 2nd year in a row. Okay. Now, while I do think that Odell Beckham Jr. will have a productive year, he's going to be on the snap count, and they already said that when they signed him. Rashad Bateman we drafted him 2 years ago to be our number 1 guy, but he hasn't been able to stay healthy up to this point. Now, I do believe in his potential, but potential doesn't always translate to on the field. You don't always realize that potential. Behind those 2 guys, we have Nelson Aguilar, who's hit or miss. We have Devin Duvernay, James Prochet, Tylan Wallace. Okay, if you're trying to tell me that those guys offset the idea of signing DeAndre Hopkins, that makes no sense. Okay. So I think you need DeAndre Hopkins in that receiver room. And the final point that I would attach to that is that the Ravens, of all of the teams that are available, have the cap space to do it. Okay. They have the cap space. Not only do they have $12 million currently in cap space, but they also have room to restructure contracts to free up more cap space in order to be able to do it. The contract that the Ravens signed Lamar Jackson to was friendly for this year, and it allowed them to be able to open up room to be able to sign key players at different positions. So this is why I think that ultimately he's going to end up with the Ravens or the Bills.
And I'm glad you mentioned the Bills, bro, because I just was about to ask you, how do you feel about two players on the Bills restructuring their contracts, and now the Bills have up to $32 million in cap space?
Yeah.
I hope.
That's insane.
I hope.
That's insane.
They're going to get them.
That's absolutely insane.
Too, man. The Chiefs will be scary to get them too. If the Chargers was smart, the Chargers would try to get them.
But see, okay, so here's the thing. I don't think the Chargers need him either. I don't even think that the Chargers would prioritize. While they wouldn't be against it, I don't think it's something that they would prioritize.
We don't need receivers.
Schematically, right, yeah, that's in my head, that's how I'm thinking about it. So for the Ravens, this is how I'm looking at it. If the Ravens roll out schematically, all the other bullshit aside, schematically, if the Ravens roll out a 4 wide receiver set of Odell, Rashad, DeAndre Hopkins, you have Lamar Jackson, which means that you have to account for him. You can't play coy with Lamar Jackson at receiver, because once he jump out the window and he starts running, it's fair game, which is why you have to play man on man across the field unless you're going to play zone. But I don't think that there's a feasible way to account for everybody with that many skilled players across the board. I just don't think. And we said all of those guys without even mentioning J.K. Dobbins and Mark Andrews yet. So that's why I think, yeah, exactly. That's why I'm excited about that. I'm not getting my hopes up too high, but I think that it's if you sign him, everybody can eat. It's one of those situations. Everybody can eat. The load won't be on one person to do everything, because everybody will be somebody that can make a play. So that's why I think it's a good fit.
Well, before you started talking, Spaz, I thought that the Ravens would probably have been a good fit for him until you started naming all those damn receivers. That's a lot of receivers, yo. Like on paper, y'all should be fine without him.
Quality over quantity.
Huh?
Quality over quantity.
I understand that, and I understand the one thing that I'm going to combat Spaz with is Rashad Bateman. Every player in the NFL, especially receivers, is in the same boat with like trying to stay healthy. If he's healthy right now, he's your guy right now. He was your guy last season, and he's your guy this season. That's who Lamar Jackson wants to throw the ball to, and he's going to throw the ball to. Yeah, I don't know. I think the front office is going to look at it as, with everything being said, they're going to look at it how they was looking at Lamar Jackson. Like, yeah, Lamar Jackson is on the market right now, and he's a hot commodity. Yeah, D-Hop is on the market right now. He's a hot commodity. But right now, we kind of good with where we at right now, receiver-wise. Like, y'all got a lot of receivers over there, yo. Before we was talking about he needs a receiver, he just got Flowers. And I will say that Odell Beckham Jr. coming off an injury, he ain't that good yet. But you do have a Rashad Bateman, and you do have an Aguilar. Like,
yeah, but you got a Rashad Bateman that ain't played one full season yet. So you can't keep, like, he good, but he hasn't played one full season yet. So I can't give him that, we got the receivers, because you got James Prochet hasn't showed up. Tylen Wallace hasn't got no bump or got no chance to do nothing. So that knocks out 2 of the receivers. Aguilar is shaky. We don't know what he about to be. Like you said, OBJ is coming off of Achilles injury, his second one. We don't know. Only legit receiver we know right now is fully healthy, and we know what they expect from is fucking Zay.
So y'all got all these shaky.
So here's the thing. And I'll piggyback off of what Boop is saying. If you have the opportunity to go get a certainty versus a bunch of question marks, what would you do? So my thing is, I know what DeAndre Hopkins is going to give me. I don't know what these other guys are going to give me. There was a point where I knew what Odell Beckham Jr. was going to give me. And again, while I do believe that he's going to produce, the two things that I heard, and I follow the Ravens with my whole heart. He's going to be on a snap count, and there are going to be games where they intentionally do not play him, right? So those are the two things that make me go, we need a guy other than we're one injury away from the same uncertainties that we faced last year and the year prior. Even though the receiver room isn't the same, you can't count on these question marks to be there. They're question marks for a reason. While I think that Rashad Bateman is uber talented, I've been up there to the training camp facility and I have watched him practice, and you can just tell if he's healthy, he is that guy. He is that dude, but we don't know.
Can I butt in right quick?
Go ahead, bro.
For sure.
So this is what I think. Do you think that DeAndre Hopkins is leaning towards he want that bag or that he want to win? Because
that's a good question.
If the Ravens want DeAndre Hopkins, they want to have to give him what he wants too. You know what I'm saying? And then how the Ravens are, bro. They not really like you said. They need to know something. Like, is you going to come here and get us a championship? Once we know that, then we're going to pay you that money. DeAndre Hopkins, he's at that caliber. He's at that caliber now where he's superstar status. He's one of the top wide receivers in the league.
Correct.
So it got to sound good. You know what I'm saying?
So
I don't know.
And can I answer that question for you? Because I know the answer to that. DeAndre Hopkins did an interview on I Am Athlete recently where he said for him, it's not about the money at this point in his career. DeAndre Hopkins has played with several receivers, Matt Schaub, Colin Ray, et cetera, right? For him, it's about where can he go to produce and put himself in a position to be able to win. And if you look over the past 3 or 4 seasons, the Ravens are one of the most winningest teams in the NFL behind the Chiefs when Lamar Jackson is at center. So to me, when he says, I wouldn't mind going to go play with Lamar Jackson, it doesn't shock me because when Lamar Jackson is at quarterback as a receiver, you're playing one-on-one out there because you can't double off of anybody, right? You can't send somebody to double a receiver if Lamar Jackson is at quarterback because he forces you to have to put people play midfield in order to account for his running ability. So that's why I can see him realistically coming to play for the Ravens. Will he do it? I have no idea. But it wouldn't shock me if he did come to Baltimore either. This has been in the making since last year. The Ravens put a bid in for him last year to trade for him because there was some issues going on. I believe that he just didn't like playing with Kyler Murray because he felt like Kyler Murray was immature or some shit like that going on over there. And it's been multiple reports that came out that said that from other players and some people in management. So it intrigues me. These next couple of weeks are going to be interesting in terms of seeing exactly where it is that DeAndre Hopkins' mind is as far as what he wants to do, as far as playing with whatever quarterback. To me personally, whether he plays with Lamar, Josh Allen, Patrick Mahomes, Justin Herbert, there's no wrong choice there. You know what I'm saying? To me, there is no wrong choice. You know what I'm saying? Because he can win in any of those situations.
I agree.
Yeah. I think most of the teams that we just would naturally think that he would want to go to, bro, a lot of teams don't got money right now. Chiefs don't really got no money right now.
No, they don't.
Bills, they didn't have no money until they just restructured that, them contracts. So it's like, we can say who would be like the best, but it's like who can get them. And what the Ravens got, like, correct me if I'm wrong, like 12 million right now that they can use.
They got 12, but they can inflate it all the way up to 20, between 17 and 20 because of they can restructure some of those contracts. So,
but do you think they're going to
like the money? Yeah.
So is it like the Ravens? So do you think that the Ravens is only lacking on the receiving tier? Do you think that they need to utilize that money with other?
I don't. I just, I'm still.
Yes. No, I agree with you.
Because to get DeAndre Hopkins, they're gonna have to spend all that.
I just don't think that they should. I'm just not a fan of them going for DeAndre Hopkins when you still. I would count on Bateman.
You got so much
I would say
can't count on somebody that ain't play a full season yet.
I understand that, and I get that, but at the same time, that's kind of a.
Hey, to be honest, if you look at it, the Ravens haven't even been all the way healthy for a whole full season. Not even just Rashad Bateman. Not even just Rashad Bateman, with like the whole team. Like, who's to say? Because when they healthy, they don't lose. Like, you know what I'm saying? Hate to admit it, but I mean, y'all be going like 6-1, 7. I mean, like, bro, like, like Justin Tucker over here scored the most points. But y'all win. Y'all win. And then it's like, as soon as that one injury hit y'all, like y'all had that one injury where it took all y'all running backs. Y'all had that one injury, it took all y'all defense away. Y'all had that one injury, it took Lamar away, and then y'all lost every game after that. But y'all was number one.
That's why it's important right now to get as much as we can get. That's the exact reason why we can't just depend on just Bateman. Because Bateman, then what?
My bad. I ain't mean to cut anybody.
Oh, you good, bro? Go ahead. What you about to say?
I honestly think Raven fans is being greedy by going after DeAndre Hopkins. Straight up.
I agree with you. No. Listen.
Receiver greedy.
I don't. Our wide receivers been better.
Listen, hold on. No. I agree that we being greedy, but I feel like we have a right to be greedy given the circumstances and because of what you just said. Wait. First of all, we never had a receiver the caliber of DeAndre Hopkins ever. That's never happened. Listen. Here's a stat for you. In all of the Ravens years, in all of their history, we have never sent a receiver to the Pro Bowl.
Y'all should give up Bateman then. Y'all should give up. I don't think that's fair to Bateman. I think that he should be y'all guy. I think that he should be y'all's guy.
Be the guy. He's still
why not? This year he could be the guy.
Not going to be a replacement for him.
No, because now that y'all have Beckham, right? He can be that guy this year, yo.
Beckham is not. Ravens already made it known that Beckham is not the one.
No, he don't have to be the one, but he can be. I'm talking about Bateman could be. Rashad Bateman can be the guy with Beckham on the field. Yes, y'all already have Beckham right now, right? I understand that he's coming off an injury, but y'all want Rashad Bateman, Odell Beckham Jr. and D Hop, yo. That's a lot.
Yes.
Only reason why I say that's not really selfish. The only reason why I feel like that's not selfish is because you have to really Odell is who he is, bro, but he's not. Like, you know what I'm saying? They're not about to play Odell all season, especially, he's injury prone. And then they, you know what I mean? Like, if they was to get DeAndre Hopkins.
The Super Bowl where he won, where he was with the Rams, who was the main receiver on that team?
Odell.
Cooper Kupp.
No.
It was Cooper Kupp, but the reason why Odell was getting off the way he was is because they put most of their attention and resources into stopping Cooper Kupp.
And why can't they do that with Rashad Bateman? Why can't Rashad Bateman be Cooper Kupp?
Because he can't play goddamn season. That's why he can't be Cooper Kupp.
Cooper Kupp got hurt too.
You gotta play, bro. He don't play.
Then they only put Odell in during when they got into red zone, like in the red zone. That's when they'll put Odell in, right? Like they ain't really have him running through the whole field. It's just when they got to the red zone, they kind of put him in the game to just score.
Odell Beckham Jr. is clearly a role player, but he's clearly a distraction for the main receiver. Is what I'm saying, right? And y'all looking at D Hopkins. And y'all we need D Hopkins when y'all got a main receiver on y'all field already. Yes, he hasn't played a full season. I get that. I understand that. But I do think this is the year, even with D Hop available, this is the year. Y'all focus on that man. But that's just my take on it. I understand what y'all saying.
It's a matter of whether or not the opposing defenses view Rashad, whether they view him as an ex-receiver. They have to look at him that way because if I'm a defensive coordinator right now at this moment, I don't feel like I absolutely have to put my one on Rashad Bateman at this moment until he proves that he can get off on if he get off on my 2. Okay, let me go put Jalen Ramsey on him. Let me see what he does then. Right now, defenses are worried about Mark Andrews. That's who they put in their best defensive backs on to
That's
stop
another
him.
one. Jesus Christ.
I'm saying though, like you have to have guys out there that take attention. I get what you're saying. You have to have other guys out there to take attention off of your primary guys. But if I'm a defensive coordinator right now, I'm putting my 2 on my 2 on Rashad Bateman, see what he do with that. I'm putting my other guy on Odell while he's out there, see what he do with that. And then we just gonna mix it because we still have to account for the fact that Lamar Jackson can run. That's the dynamic between the Ravens and other teams, is that if DeAndre Hopkins is here, he's going to get one-on-one coverage the entire time because you can't afford to put 2 guys on any one receiver. It's not happening. You got to leave one in the box. Yeah. And they gonna pass. They did interviews. They said they're gonna pass a lot this season, which means that everybody gonna get a chance to eat. Not only that, one more point. Todd Monken came in as our offensive coordinator, and the last time he was an offensive coordinator of a team in the NFL, he almost had 3 receivers that had 1,000 yards. So to me, the numbers speak for themselves. Todd Monken as an offensive coordinator speaks for itself, in the scheme speaks for itself. I'll get my eyes on it when I go up there to the Ravens facility and I watch the practices, but I am interested to see. Again, all of this is still hypothetical, but I would like to see DeAndre Hopkins in a Ravens uniform, obvious.
Out of greed. No, I'm just messing with you. I'm just messing with you.
It's really the fact that it's just like I get what you're saying, Neil, like your perspective as far as where you like, bro, why would y'all add another dynamic person? But it's just, as like a real Ravens fan, I'm not comfortable with our wide receiver core right now. I'm happy with it because it's better than what it was. But am I sitting here saying we got a top 5 wide receiver core? Hell no.
Why do you want a top 5 receiver? Hold on.
For what?
Do you think that adding D Hopkins is going to add? Do you think? All right. So the problem with the Ravens organization has been y'all have never had a Hall of Famer wide receiver or never sent nobody to the Pro Bowl. I understand that, but do you think the answer for that is overloading your receiver with your core with receivers? I don't consider that overloading. Just because you're questioning your receiving core right now, right? You just gotta see what it is for what you got right now.
You gotta blame that on an offensive coordinator though.
I was about to say.
Which is another point. Y'all just fired an offensive coordinator. This whole thing is fresh. Adding DeAndre Hopkins based off what y'all got, which is an injured, questionable, which I will admit, it's questionable squad. But I would, me personally, I would do that instead of, because if I'm Rashad Bateman, I'm getting out of there. Because he's not getting the ball if he's coming in. He's not getting the ball. And that's
I wouldn't say that. I'm trying to tell you. I'm trying to tell you.
Y'all will have four. Y'all will have 4. Everybody's going to main character energy.
You keep saying main. Everybody is not a main, bro. I think
you got Odell Beckham Jr.
He's not a main no more. Odell, you got to stop putting so much on Odell. He had a great career, but even in the beginning of his career, he was injury prone. We don't know what Odell we're going to get, so that's a question mark. We don't know if Bateman is going to be healthy the whole season. That's a question mark. We don't know if Nelson Aguilar can catch this year. That's a question mark. You had him on your team. You don't have Nelson Aguilar. So
yeah, he's questionable. He's questionable for sure.
Besides Mark Andrews, and I'm confident about Zay Flowers, but we ain't seen him playing.
So Neil, let me ask you a question. Would you rather go into training camp with somebody that you know what you're gonna get out of them, or people that you don't really know what's gonna happen? Would you? Because you said you want to wait and see. In the NFL, by the time you done waiting and seeing, somebody else had already made a move that could put them over the top and put them in Super Bowl contention. Absolutely. So would you rather wait? To me, I don't want to wait to see who the fuck else. Why would I want to? Why would I want my DBs to go against DeAndre Hopkins? I would, even if I'm stuffing the receiver room, I would much rather have that dude on my team than to have him on the other team and we got to go against him.
I think the major key that I'm trying to say, the major key that I want to hone in on is the point of Rashad Bateman staying healthy or not being able to stay healthy a whole year. This may be his year right now. This may be his year. This may be the year. To answer your question, Spaz, if I was to bring in DeAndre Hopkins, I'm getting rid of Bateman because I do not want that drama on my core. I don't. He's not getting the ball. If he's healthy, he's not getting the ball over DeAndre Hopkins. Y'all got too many receivers to spread that rock to, and he likes to run. He's not getting the rock.
Bateman had his chance when Hollywood Brown left. When Hollywood Brown left, that was Bateman's chance.
And he got injured.
I ain't gonna lie. Hold on. I ain't gonna hold you. I'm not gonna cap. I gotta keep it 100. Them first 2-3 weeks of the season, I was like, yo, Rashad going over 1,000 yards. If he stayed healthy, he was going over 1,000. But he got injured. That's the thing. We don't know. Remember last year, his rookie season, he got injured in training camp. Then he came back, got injured, he got nicked again. The previous season, healthy off season, healthy first 2-3 weeks, got injured, came back, played one game, sat him the rest of the year. We don't know what we're going to get. I'd rather go with the guy that I'm sure.
It sounds like your mans need to hit that weight room. It sounds like he needs to hit that weight room.
But ultimately, y'all,
it's a foot injury. It's a foot injury.
Y'all basing something off injury. I'd never think that it's okay to be.
That's big in sports. Injury is a big thing in sports.
But not to base. You can't base if he's healthy right now. You're bringing in DeAndre Hopkins based off your main guy who would have gotten over 1,000 yards one season. You're basing that off DeAndre. That's the one thing y'all basing it on. Y'all got a main guy right now. Y'all got one.
Until he played consistently through a whole season.
So he playing, man.
I'm not going to sit here and put all of my chips into his basket. You feel me?
That's fair. That's fair. I understand.
Keep doing that. We just did that shit 3 years. You got to think teams be cutting players that don't play a whole season that they draft. Even though he was the first round, and the Ravens, Ravens don't do that stuff. Ravens show love. You feel me? They ain't going to just do that. But most teams would have probably already cut his ass because he ain't play a full season. It ain't like he playing 8, 9, 10 games, then getting injured. He's getting injured before the season start, the beginning of the season. It's just like
cut him and get D-Hop. Cut him and get D-Hop, but don't let him.
We don't need to cut him. You feel me? Because they can all play together.
I don't think. Do you honestly believe he's going to get the rock over D-Hop? He's not getting the rock.
D-Hop is not going to get the ball every pass.
Every time, no, he's not.
When has DeAndre Hopkins not been the main receiver on a team, getting the rock most of the time?
Look at the teams he's been on.
Here's what I'm gonna tell you. Here's what I'm gonna tell you, bro. Here's what I'm gonna tell you. While Rashad Bateman's not going to get, first of all, he not getting the primary targets right now.
Because he was injury prone.
No. That's not even that. That's not even that, bro. Listen, you have a Pro Bowl tight end, Mark Andrews. He's getting the most targets. I don't give a fuck who's on the field, right?
Fact.
He's getting the first targets. DeAndre Hopkins and Rashad Bateman, they're going to split the targets. Zay Flowers don't need that many targets. I don't know if y'all seen his college film, but Zay Flowers needs 4 targets a game, okay? 4 or 5 targets a game. And one of those, he could take that shit to the house, right? Mm-hmm. He's that kind of dude. So you don't really, we have so many weapons that we will have so many weapons if you bring in DeAndre Hopkins. But to me, again, it's subjective. So I understand where you're coming from. It's subjective. But to me, you can never, of course, egos are going to be a thing, right? But to me, Rashad Bateman is not in a place in his career where he can afford to have that ego because you haven't done anything in the league yet to have that kind of ego about you, right? Now I understand you want to go out there and get your numbers, get paid. I get that. But if you want to prove that you are that dude, what better way to do that shit than with DeAndre Hopkins on your team and you shining over him?
I'm with it. I get it.
Feel me?
And to be honest, I really think Lamar throws it to Andrews the most, you feel me? Because of course it's Mark Andrews, but he don't trust nobody else. Who else showed on the team for him to feel comfortable enough to throw him to him all the time? You see when he trusted Hollywood, and Hollywood was splitting them pitches. Hollywood was hitting them targets just like Mark Andrews. But imagine if he's going to trust Zay. You feel me? He's going to trust Mark. He's going to trust Odell. He's going to spread that ball around, bro. He even said...
My fault. Go ahead.
No, he even said, you feel me, like, he don't want to run touchdowns, bro. He want to throw them bitches, you feel me? Like, he don't want to run them. So he's cool with throwing touchdowns to everybody.
I'll leave this subject with this. Remember, the year that Lamar Jackson won MVP, he had decent receivers. Seth Roberts, Marquise Brown, he had Mark Andrews. He had a decent receiving core. If you give him weapons like what he has now, there's no real telling what he can really do.
But what you gonna say, Q?
I was ready to say, so like, am I honest? Like, this is a question, you feel me, that I just had in my head, just after looking at the draft. What do y'all see and what do y'all expect different from Zay Flowers than when y'all had Marquise Brown?
You can go first, guys.
Like, what do y'all?
Would you like me to answer the question?
Yeah, what do you expect to see different from Zay Flowers? Like, do you think they're going to utilize Zay Flowers different, or are they just going to send him on burn routes like they was doing with Marquise Brown, and then sending him all the way?
Well,
because I understand that frustration with Marquise Brown. The fact that every snap you sending me to run 30 plus yards up the field every snap just to throw it to Mark Andrews that just hit a slant route real quick. Mind you, every play I'm running 40 plus yards. Like, granted, yes, he was getting the ball, but it was like I see where he was coming from. But like, you think like Zay, like what? I really don't know what kind of player Zay Flowers is. I didn't really watch his college, but like, considering his build and like just like, you know what I'm saying, just watching like little Instagram, little clips of him, I honestly just think he's just like a Marquise Brown 2.0.
Yeah,
like,
okay.
I don't know.
So, all right.
Y'all ready to light me up. Y'all ready
based
to light me up.
No. Because here's the thing. I agree with you. I just think that Zay Flowers has. I feel safer sending Zay Flowers over the middle than Marquise Brown in his rookie season in the NFL. Right now, I believe that Zay Flowers has an NFL body, right? To me, he's more of a handsy catcher than Hollywood Brown was. Don't get me wrong. I do believe that some people won't agree with me when I say this, but when Hollywood Brown was here, he had some of the best hands on the team. Some of those catches that he was making, no other receiver on our team could have made those catches at the time that he was here. Okay. Not only that, Marquise Brown was also an underrated route runner. I believe that Zay Flowers is also a good route runner. So when you say that, Zay Flowers, when you look at him as basically a Marquise Brown 2.0. I can't completely disagree with that. I also think that he's going to get a chance to shine a bit of being under Todd Monken's system. Greg Roman didn't prioritize Marquise Brown not nearly as much as he should have because Marquise Brown was a game breaker. You just put the ball in his fucking hands and you let him work. The same thing I think that they should do with Zay Flowers. You don't need to send him on a fly route 10 times a game, right? Get him this ball on a 5-yard slant and let him take that motherfucker to the house because he can break tackles. Marquise Brown was the same kind of guy, except Marquise Brown was shifty. That's why they called him Hollywood, right? So their college tape is comparable, man. I just think that Zay Flowers is coming in with a better build than Marquise Brown at the time that he came in.
Okay, yeah, that's understandable. I could agree with that. Let
me tell you how I feel. Let me tell you how I feel. I feel like Zay Flowers is better than Hollywood. And niggas might look at me, it'll be like, it could be overhyped, you feel me? But me personally, the one thing I like about Zay Flowers over over Hollywood is the fact that still here with us, bro.
Yeah.
All right. The thing that I like about Zay over Hollywood is Zay Flowers is way tougher, a way tougher runner. Hollywood went down easy a lot. It was a lot of times when Hollywood would catch the ball and somebody come in and he would fall down. Or he tripped a lot. He always falling over his feet. I think he had great hands, you get what I'm saying? But I don't see Zay Flowers dropping nowhere near as many passes as I seen Hollywood drop. You get what I'm saying? I feel like route running, I feel like their route running is very similar. I think both of them run real good routes. I think like by having a lower center of gravity. I'm not sure. I think Zay might be a little shorter than Hollywood.
Them motherfuckers the same height.
All right.
I was
the same height.
They almost the same build, bro. That's why
Hollywood wasn't. If you remember, Hollywood didn't come into the league cut. He got cut after like his third year. He was scrawny in the league. Zay is already cut. You feel me? Coming in the league, and I feel like Spaz was saying earlier, it's way easier. You feel me to trust Zay going across that middle than Hollywood. Because like I said, I see Zay break a lot of tackles in your college highlight tapes. You don't see Hollywood breaking a lot of tackles. You see him bing, bing. You see him bipping people up. You get what I'm saying? That was Hollywood. One cut, he's gone.
Yeah.
They is sitting you down, rocket you. Feel me? Like, so, and I think we're going to utilize him way different. Like, he's going to be a lot jet sweeps. We ain't really do that too much with Hollywood, but like you said, Greg Roman just
again, I have no idea why. Greg Roman just didn't know what the hell he was doing with our group. That's just all it was, bro. Like, Marquise Brown was that. First of all, Marquise Brown, the last season he was with us, I believe he went over 1,000 yards. And that remember, people was calling that a down year from Marquise Brown, right? And that was the most receiving yards he ever had in a single season, bro. Remember, he also dropped some passes as well. But again, Marquise Brown is that kind of dynamic dude where you don't need to throw him the ball 20 yards downfield for him to do something with it. Set a pick play, right? Get him across the middle and let him work out. Let him work out, man. Let him get his yak. So I hope that's what they're going to do. I know that's what they're going to do with Zay Flowers. I know that for a fact.
And fellas, we at the point of our show where we are just under an hour mark left. You feel me? So definitely clap it up. You feel me for the show so far? Y'all know what that means. Y'all know it's time to switch this topic up, and we gonna talk about Boston. You already know who we gonna start off with. You know who we gonna start off with. My guy
Neil smiling harder than he's smiling so hard.
I'll tell that boy is alive right now.
He alive.
Go ahead.
Go ahead, talk to us.
Man, I woke up this morning, man. It was a good day. It was a good day, bro. Because honestly, it was a good day because not only did we win the game, but I honestly called almost everything that happened on this podcast. Like we figured out Jimmy Butler, right? I said he was all. I was like, yo, listen. Let's just rerun the whole series. Like the first 3 games, Jimmy Butler was phenomenal. I was just like, yo, I don't know how we're going to figure him out. Now, I think the one thing that I would do if I was Joe Mazzulla is I would take Derek White off of Jimmy Butler. What are you doing? Why is he guarding Jimmy Butler at all? So for this game, from what I seen, Derek White and Al Horford stayed next to each other the whole time. So when Jimmy Butler would call a switch on Derek White, Al Horford was not too far away. So that was one defensive thing that they did that changed the whole series. Once they started doing that, it was over. Now, like I told you before, like Bam Adebayo, he's got to win the game. He's got to come off and he's got to get them second chance points He's got to be the one that get the offensive rebounds, and he's not able to do it. And they're relying on their bench players, their role players, their undrafted, and it's like it's basically a team. They're playing a team with substance without substance. They don't have any substance. They're like they're just saying that. I'm just saying like they're like a diet NBA team right now. You know what I mean? And I'm not trying to talk no shit. I'm not trying to talk shit, but it's just like they got exposed. You know what I mean? They just got exposed. They got exposed.
I kind of feel like Jimmy Butler wasn't y'all problem. Like Jimmy Butler, I feel like y'all was y'all problem. Like it wasn't even Jimmy. I feel like in the first like 2 games,
I agree with that.
Like y'all had a lot of offensive fouls, a lot of turnovers. You know, y'all kept getting caught on them charge calls a lot. You know what I'm saying? That really was like, it was really just throwing y'all momentum all the way off for the first 2 games and even the 3rd game. You know what I'm saying? And like you said, y'all did find that defensive, like that, y'all made that defensive switch and y'all, you know what I'm saying? Y'all moving y'all defense around better. So yeah, it is showing because to come back 3-0, you know what I'm saying? Your team got to win 1 game to get to the finals. And y'all ain't letting them. Y'all obviously had to do something different. And y'all definitely playing like y'all are the better team, like y'all were in the beginning of the series. You know what I'm saying? It's just all falling together now. Like, you know what I'm saying? I said I'm going for I said Miami going to get them out the series. I ain't going to switch up what I'm gonna say. What I was going like, you know, what I was thinking like Miami's going to win. But for y'all to come back, that's very good. Y'all did very, very good. You know.
Let me ask you this. What you about to say? How do we feel
about Joe Mazzulla? How y'all feel about him as a coach, yo? In general, because he might get fired, yo. He might. He might.
Okay, can I?
Go ahead.
Can I jump in on this one? So Joe Mazzulla he's a weird dude, yo. Because I feel like this is what he does. He relies purely on the talent of Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown to carry them to a W. Right. And while I understand that is when you have star players like that, you need their star power to overcome tough situations. You need somebody to make a tough play. But you also have to be able to draw up competent X's and O's plays to put those guys in the best position possible to be able to make those plays when necessary. There's no reason this last game. You knew that Miami was going, that final play where Derek White got the tip in, you knew that Miami was going to do everything in their power to make sure that JT did not touch that ball. Absolutely. And realistically, they succeeded. They succeeded in stopping Jason Tatum. You got to put him in a situation where you can get him the ball and get him a decent look at the basket. Marcus Smart, praise God. You know what I'm saying? He is who he is. He's a great defensive player, in my opinion. He's the guy that's kind of the glue to this team. However, that's not the dude I want to see taking that shot at the end of the game. That's not the guy, right? Jason Tatum or Jaylen Brown are the guys that I prefer taking that shot. And I don't feel like over the course of this season that Joe Mazzulla has put his team in a position to win games that they should be winning. In my opinion. Not only that, there's a problem with Boston's motor. Okay, it's like a car. You know what I'm saying? You have car problems. You're like, man, this motherfucker. I don't know what's wrong with it, but it's a good car. I just bought it, right? I need this motherfucker to start. It just won't start, right? This is what they did when playing against Miami. What got them in that 3-0 deficit? Charles Barkley talked about it a little bit yesterday. Is that it takes them too long to get their shit together before they realize, oh shit, we actually got a hoop. Right? Yeah. So that's
Atlanta exposed that. Atlanta series exposed that. Yeah. Real bad. Yeah. Go ahead. I'm sorry. Keep going, bro.
Yeah, no, that's just how I feel in terms of X's and O's. I don't think Mazzulla is that dude. That's me personally, because I've seen way too many questionable plays, not only in the playoffs, but throughout the year where I was like, huh? I mean, I guess it didn't really make sense, you know. But that's just how I feel about Joe Mazzulla,
That's a good take. I like that take. It's tough. As a Celtics fan, it's tough because I kind of want to stick it out with Mazzulla because it'll be 5 and 5, five coaches, 5 years. I don't feel like doing. I know if they fire Mazzulla, Brown is leaving. He's questioning the organization. I know he is because that's since he's been in the league before Tatum. He's been in the league before Tatum, and he's had so many systems. He's had to learn so many different playbooks in 5 and 6 years. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
He was in the league with Isaiah Thomas, so he had to learn that system. So like I really want the Celtics to stick it out because I really want the core to stay together. But I know if the coach gets fired or the coach leaves, that system's getting broken up because I could just feel the tension. You know what I mean? Like that's why I'm not mad. This is why I say I'm not mad at Mazzulla right now because he's not the greatest coach, and I understand that. But one, he came in as an intern. The coach that was supposed to be for that team ended up getting fired. He was only supposed to be there just until he gets back, like just to fill in. But then he figured out, like, yo, I mean, I got a team that's most likely gonna get a chip or close to it. All I gotta do is kind of let them ride this out. And when he said the fact that I didn't get them prepared, you never got them prepared. They got themselves prepared the entire time. Like,
I agree.
What do you mean? Like, So I don't want them to just fire him, yo. I just don't want that to happen. I want Brad Stevens to come in himself and help him out, get off the chair, help him out, let them know that this is your guy, and then go from there. Brad Stevens almost got him to the chip a couple times. There's no reason why he can't come up off the chair and help him instead of firing him. And who we gonna get? The that just fired Phoenix coach?
Monty Williams.
I don't want Monty Williams, bro. Like
he's a very good coach though.
But still, it's just another system. He had KD and Booker. I
think Monty Williams got blamed for a lot that happened, to be honest. But I honestly think Monty Williams is a really good coach. Like, I really don't got nothing bad to say about Monty.
Nah, he's a good coach.
Like, I just
quick question,
feel like
fella. Quick question. We're gonna start with you, Spaz. And Game 7, who you got?
Boston. I got Boston. I think first of all, let's just put ourselves in the player's shoes for a second. You're in prime position to win that game. After being down, right? And Derek White comes baseline after spacing the floor. And he inbounded the ball.
Yes.
Jason Tate first. Okay. Let me start out of bounds. Derek White has the ball. You get exactly what you want, which is anybody else shooting the ball that's not named Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown. You get Marcus Smart, who's the worst scorer of everybody on the floor at the moment. And he rims it out, and you allow Derek White to come baseline and tip in. Bro, if I was on Miami, my heart would be in my ass. Okay,
that's basketball 101.
That's basketball 101. Box out, son. You dropped this. You dropped this, and I believe firmly that Boston is going to make history. Now, with that said, I need Jason Tatum to go into this game with ready to close it out.
Yeah.
Okay, because if there's one thing I can say about Jason Tatum's game that I do not like is that he settles way too often. Over the course of the season, Jason Tatum averaged 37.5 percent from the 3-point line on 9 attempts, 9.3, and made 3.5 a game. You're shooting way too many threes. You're way too good around the basket and in the mid range to shoot that many threes. I understand that you want the X's and O's of the game, the psychology of the game. You want the defense to respect the fact that you can shoot threes. They know you can shoot threes. They know you can hit threes. But you are there. He's been having these patches where he goes 0 for 7, 0 for 6, 0 for 8, and he just keeps on chucking. Get to the basket. There is nobody over there that can sufficiently guard Jason Tatum if he decides he wants to be aggressive and go into the basket. That's just my opinion, though.
I agree.
Anything between the elbow on in, Jason Tatum can damn near get at will, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that's just my opinion. You gotta work them, man. You gotta work them. You gotta get Jimmy Butler out of the game, get him in foul trouble because you know he's gonna be your primary defender, right? Go at him. You know what I'm saying? So that's my take on it. But I do believe ultimately that Boston is going to pull this shit out and they're going to end up in the championship.
Okay, talk you.
I'm going with Miami.
Ooh.
I already said it like when the series started.
What does Miami have to do to win this game?
I feel like Miami isn't fazed by pressure as much as Boston is. I feel as though that if the only way that Boston will win is if they don't allow Miami to control the momentum of the game, even if they're home, because it really does it doesn't faze Miami, you know what I'm saying? Like, it doesn't really faze them. And considering like Jimmy Butler just being Miami Heat just being the most clutch team in the NBA, how they've been playing in the playoffs, I don't know. It's just like, how likely is it for them not to win another game at the 1-3? Like, okay, they just sat and lost 3 straight. I just feel like just the way the NBA is, just how like just the NBA usually goes. I just feel like Miami is just still going to win. Like, it's not in the script. You know what I'm saying? Like, I got a sneak peek of the script. You know what I'm saying? I got a man's that know a man's. And I don't see it. I don't see it working in Boston favors. It sounds good. It sounds so good. Just like both teams going to get swept in the conference finals for the first time in history. Like, that type of stuff. Like, it just doesn't happen that way. Like, it just sounds too good to be true. Like,
can I?
Yeah, go ahead.
Can I jump in real quick? I'm going to say something that might sound like a hot take, but I want y'all to give me your opinions on this. I know how people feel about Jimmy Butler, but I've never viewed Jimmy Butler as a tier 1 superstar.
Me neither.
I've never viewed him as a tier 1 superstar.
Me neither.
Jimmy Butler has these because I'm actually about to explain why. Jimmy Butler in let's take these last 3 games for example, right? Mm-hmm. These last 3 games, Jimmy Butler has almost absolutely disappeared. A lot of people that do sports commentary on TV said it was the first time since last year that they seen Jimmy Butler look completely checked out, like he didn't want anything to do with being on the floor. Okay, mentally, you could see that on the TV that he was not as engaged. It was almost like he didn't want the ball. We're like, wait a minute, Jimmy, hold on, what are you doing? Like, this is your time. You are the guy. There is nobody else on the floor that can do anything remotely close to what Jimmy Butler can do from an offensive standpoint. That name isn't Tyler Hero, but Tyler Hero isn't playing. So Jimmy Butler has had games like that consistently in the playoffs throughout his career, not just this year, not just last year, not just the year before that. This has happened consistently. I've never viewed him, even on this Miami team. I look at this team as a strength in numbers type of situation. He's the primary guy, but I don't view him as the guy on this team. I don't look at him like that.
The only reason why I will label Jimmy Butler as a tier 1 superstar is because you had to look at where he's been since he's left Chicago. Like,
Okay.
When he went to the Timberwolves, when he went with Philly, like he's always had his foot in the door. Like he's always had that, like, and then look at like where everybody thought Jimmy Butler was going to be when he went to Miami. When they seen him sign that 5-year contract with Miami, everybody was like, what is he doing? Like, what are you doing? You obviously don't want a championship. First year there, he went to the
I didn't say that.
Yeah. But a lot of people did. It was like kind of like how people looked at CP3 when he went to the Suns. And then the Suns ended up being the first seed in the league.
I
Like,
didn't say either. But
I'm just going off of what I'm just going off of like what I like see, like based off like just what like you know what I'm saying. When you look at it on the social media, you see how people comment and what people say. I'm just going off based on what I've seen. And to be honest, Jimmy Butler has always took that role and always took his team to higher levels. Like it can't be nobody else. Jimmy Butler has always been in the playoffs. He's always been getting to the semifinals, the conference finals every year. I think it was like 1 year he got.
Okay, so can I rebuttal with this? How many teams are trading or letting go tier 1 players?
Besides KD.
Besides KD and Kyrie Irving.
But again, it's what are those players coming with? Are they the person that demanded the trade from those specific
This is why I label any player that can go to a team and make that team a way better, actually a championship contender team. We can't say Miami is not a championship contender team right now because they're in the Eastern Conference Finals. They are one step away to the championship. They have made it all the way here from having a mediocre season. Then they made it from the play-in. They took the number one team out. Like, it has to be because of somebody. It can't be because Jimmy Butler is playing at a level that is carrying his team to the championships. You can't label that not as a tier 1 superstar. It's people that are better than Jimmy Butler that ain't even doing that themselves.
I feel you, but I also think that context matters. They beat the number 1 seed when they were missing Giannis for 3 games. When he came back dealing with a back injury that I'm 100% sure he wasn't 100% healed from when he did come back. They got to the second. I mean, I don't want to take anything away from, but I always think that whenever we talk about these types of situations, context does matter. It's like
the reason why
you beat this team, but this guy wasn't there to see you on X amount of games. And I am more than sure that if Giannis is there that entire series, it probably goes differently. That's just my opinion, and it's not taken away from. It's not me saying that I don't think that. It's not me saying that I don't think Miami is a talented team. It's not me saying that I don't think they were capable of doing some good things. But I do not. I just don't think that is the case. They were the number 1 seed for a reason until that guy got injured. I think that through and through, top to bottom, I think that Milwaukee's roster was better, and Giannis is head and shoulders better than any player on both teams. So to me, it's like I respect Jimmy Butler and I applaud his efforts, which to me, I cannot, even when he played. I mean, well, maybe this is unfair because he came in with Derrick Rose. Maybe it's unfair to compare the two, but there was no point in his tenure in Denver. In Chicago, where I was like, he might be that guy. It was no point when he was in Minnesota. Was like, they still leaned on Karl Anthony Towns, while Jimmy Butler was like the spirit of the team. They still say, yeah, we still need Karl to go for 40.
Just to butt in right now. Yes, I couldn't say all those things when he was on Sixers or the Timberwolves or Chicago, but I can say that now in Miami. I can say he's top.
Literally,
that's fair.
Specifically because 2020.
Jimmy Butler has already put Jimmy Butler has already put Giannis out the playoffs before. This is not something that didn't happen already. He done already put Giannis out the playoffs. And then the problem wasn't the injury of Giannis coming back. The problem was the coaching. They didn't put Giannis on Jimmy Butler. And Giannis had expressed that. He was just like, I don't know what they was thinking on the coaching staff. It was bad coaching. It was a lot wrong. You feel me? The way they were playing, the way that Miami was playing the Bucks in the playoffs, bro, it really looked like it didn't even matter if Giannis was healthy or not. The way the efficiency that the Miami Heat was bringing. Who did they play? Who did they play next? I want to say the Knicks. Was it the Knicks?
The Knicks, yeah.
That was the most efficient series of the playoffs. They both were shooting over 70% from the field goal. The Knicks and the Heat. And it was just considering the fact that the Heat was up, the Knicks couldn't come up. Because every time the Knicks scored, the Heat would score. It's just like the way that they were playing, you had to look at who's the floor general of this? Who is the mastermind behind them?
Well, what's wrong with
somebody?
What's wrong with Jimmy Butler right now? Where is he at right now? These last 3 games.
Okay.
I'm just saying.
Bro,
where is he?
Right. If he's a little gassed, then
before you answer, I want to say that I do agree with you, bro. Like the point that you just to reiterate your point, he does make his teammates better, and that does make you a tier 1 player. To me, like I can't argue with that, right? But right now they need him. And to Spazz's point, there has been a history of this. This is one of the reasons why Philly got rid of him. When we all gasp and be like, why is Philly getting rid of him for Tobias Harris? It's because Tobias Harris has shown more of a role player of what they needed, what the Sixers needed, versus what Jimmy Butler's leadership skills was able to do. Like right now, that's kind of exposing. Like Celtics is kind of exposing that right now because they need him. So they needed him to close that shit out. It was 3-0. They was up 3-0. They needed Jimmy Butler only, because he was the reason, one of the sole reasons why they were 3-0, and they needed him to close it out. So like that's one of the reasons why he's kind of on the chopping block for being not.
Hold on, fellas. We got 3 minutes on this topic, and then we're gonna switch to our next one. Y'all can go ahead.
I wouldn't say it was Jimmy Butler. You have to understand he utilized his assets, and his assets showed up. And then on top of that, Boston was selling themselves with turnovers and offensive fouls. At the end of the day, you feel me? Jimmy Butler is going to do what he needs to do every game. You know what I'm saying? As far as
that hasn't been the case the past 3 games.
Yeah, as far as these past 3 games, you know what I'm saying? You playing the Boston Celtics. You know what I'm saying? The Boston Celtics is a great team, especially in the East. They're one of the best teams.
Yeah,
they're basically the best team in the East. You know what I'm saying? They're going to focus on Jimmy Butler, regardless.
Yeah. And as a tier 1 guy, you have to find a way to get by that shit. Like you can't be a tier 1 dude. You can't be a tier 1 dude and disappear for 3 games in a row in a closeout game.
And you can't be a tier 1 dude if a whole team had to focus on one guy to win games. You gotta understand. You gotta look at it like they're how they're looking at it. They're like, what can we do to stop Jimmy Butler, one guy? They're not talking about the Miami Heat. You can't be a tier 1 player not putting fear in people's heart like that on the court. They are coming back. Yes, they are coming back. But like I said, even if they lose the series, what do they win? They win the same thing as everybody else won that loss. You know what I'm saying? That 3 wins coming back don't even mean nothing if Miami win this game. The
reason why Boston is focusing on Jimmy Butler is because on the floor currently, without Tyler Hero, he is recognized as the primary offensive threat. That does not necessarily make him a tier 1 dude. In alpha, let me give you my tier 1. LeBron is a tier 1. Luka is a tier 1. Kevin Durant is a tier 1. Guys like that who, no matter what you do, they're going to get theirs. They're not going to be they're not going to be the reason that you lose because they didn't show up in some way. These 3 games are close out games to get to the championship, and he has not shown up. And I'm a Jimmy Butler fan. I fuck with yo. I mean, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cuss at these.
So
I didn't mean, you know what I'm saying? Like, I like Jimmy Butler. I like his character. I like what he tries to do on the court in terms of bringing his teammates along. But this is, in terms of his individual performance, this is par the course for what has happened to him in the playoffs throughout his career.
Does that same pressure apply to Jason Tatum? Because does that same pressure apply to Jason Tatum? Because now they both have to close out the game. You know what I'm saying? And granted, I mean, Jimmy Butler had a whole 3 games to do it, but in the same sense, Jason Tatum done lost 3 games straight first. So where do you Jason Tatum, I know we can all agree Jason Tatum's a tier 1 player.
We can, yes, we can. I am.
Where does that leave him, considering the fact that you lost 2 games at home? You lost 2 games at home, and then, I mean, you lost 1 game away, and then now, what is it? They going back and forth now? But at the end of the day,
I think
quick response, and then we got to switch the topic, fellas.
I'm gonna just say this. I think one big difference between Jason Tatum and Jimmy Butler is Celtics is not about to trade Jason Tatum away. Not gonna happen. Not in any way, shape, or form. He is retiring the Celtics.
He's younger. He's more offensively gifted, and you can build a team around him for the future. You probably can't say the same thing about Jimmy Butler at this point.
That's it.
Everybody that's on Jimmy Butler's team is young. It's when he went to Miami, everybody on his team was young. You didn't even have a player that was over 23.
But are they Jason Tatum? That's the thing. Is if they're not Jason Tatum, if they're not of J.
Tyler Hero, Bam Adebayo.
All right, fellas. We gotta switch this.
That was a good one. I like that one.
I like it too. It was intense. You feel me? You had a lot of funny faces that he was making throughout the whole time.
I'm sorry.
It's good, y'all.
I wear my emotions on my sleeve.
That's why we knew this episode was going to be a great episode because of all of that. But right now we got 18 minutes left, and I want to dedicate these 18 minutes to the boxing fans. Oh yeah.
Okay.
And it's a topic that I didn't tell none of y'all about.
Yeah.
Y'all know we gotta talk about Loma and Haney. That's the one I let y'all know about. And everybody gonna give their, quick analysis on how they felt about that fight. But we gonna talk about this Earl Spence Burns Crawford fight. But let's start with our special guest, man. How you feel about the Loma Haney fight, man? What that mean?
You know what, man?
Keep it real.
So here's the thing. Disclaimer. I did not watch the fight. However, I went back the day after the fight and watched the full fight. So I didn't watch it live, but I watched it on YouTube afterwards, the day after and shit. And the conclusion that I came to was that there needs to be a rematch. I don't think that anybody won that fight definitively. However, as I was observing, it looked to me like Lomachenko was in control in a lot of points throughout those rounds, which is why I could see a lot of people had their gripes about the final ruling on it, including Stephen A. Smith. Some pro boxers, Bernard Hopkins talked about it. You have people, Colin Cowherd talked about it. Nick Wright talked about it. I think that there needs to be a rematch between those guys because it was way too even to call left or right. And I know that's, the next thing that people were clamoring about after that was Gervonta Davis versus Devin Haney. After watching that fight,
you ain't ready.
I don't know if Devin Haney is prepared to take a counter right from Gervonta Davis. I don't know if he's prepared.
He probably can't.
I don't know if he's prepared. Yeah, it's I don't know about that. So what I would like to see if we're gonna have, because this made me less enthusiastic about their fight. If we're gonna have a Haney versus Tank, I need to see Haney versus Lomachenko part 2 first. I need to see Devin Haney beat Lomachenko definitively before I see him move on to Tank. It's funny because Tank is not in the top 10 in the ESPN rankings.
I was going to say something
He's
about
not.
that.
He's not. He's not there, bro.
Yeah, I have
He's
a
not.
huge problem with that, bro.
That to
I
me
don't
is
understand
interesting.
why.
No. Because here's why, and I'll jump on this and then I'll hand it off to you, Neil. Here's why he's not on there is because a lot of people, especially the Vegas odd bettors, did not view Ryan Garcia as being in the same tier as Tank. So they felt like he was fighting lesser talent at the time. Now, do I think that Tank had a leg up? That they grade you according to who you fight, not how many fights, who you fight. So if Devin beats Lomachenko, he moves up. Remember, Neil, if you've seen it, Lomachenko is no longer in the top 10.
No,
he's not there. He's off the rankings. So to me, if I'm going to see Haney, let's reverse it. If we want to see Tank move into top 10 on the rankings, then we're going to have to see him accept a fight from Haney if it's feasible, if they can come to an agreement on the numbers and everything like that. But I did think it was interesting that Ryan versus Tank was pegged as one of the biggest fights in the past 5 years, and then after he beats Garcia, he's still not in the top 10. I did think that was a little weird.
Yeah, that is weird.
And then I'm sorry, and then the piggyback, it's also weird because I do want to see Loma and Haney fight again because of the same reason you just said. But it's funny that I want to see them fight again because it's really just so Haney can fight Tank, who's not on the top 10, or he is. They did update a recent picture where he is on the top 10, but he's extremely low, right?
Like 9 or some shit.
Yeah. So how I feel about the fight is I see everybody. Everybody is saying pretty much the same thing. Loma won. Loma controlled the fight, and I watched the fight. I watched the fight up until the first 7 rounds live. Then I went back, and it was the last 3 rounds, 4 rounds that I missed, which is what people were saying Loma won the fight. And at that time, for me, right, I felt as if those last 4 rounds that Loma won or was tightly contested was too late. I do not agree with the scorecard at all. I agree with you, Spaz, when you say that it was too close. But I gave the slight edge to Haney for a couple reasons. One, Haney is the champion and Loma is the challenger. And to fight a champion, you have to have an impression on the judges. You can't just be out there just out. I mean, it's not all about how many punches you land. It's also about making an impression on the judges. And yes, you are controlling the fight, but then you are controlling the fight during the last part of the fight. What were you doing the beginning in the middle of the fight and the rest of those rounds? Haney was throwing body shots and throwing counter punches in the beginning of the fight, and he's the champion. So therefore, they're going to swing his way. That's just how boxing works. I honestly believe that the science of boxing has gotten so under control since under control or not out of control since Mayweather, since 2015. Mayweather's team came in, and Mayweather has shown that the control of boxing and making an impression on the judges matters to boxing, because that is one of the only reasons why Haney won that fight and was able to sway the judges any type of way. It's going to seem as if Loma is beating him up, but that is not what matters. when you are a champion. If you are not knocking out a champion, you are considered losing. Period. Like that's just how it is. Like you can beat him up all you want if he is making an impression on the judges by controlling that fight in any single way, they're gonna swing it his way. They're gonna swing it his way. And again, I to answer the Haney and Tank question, how I feel about Haney and Tank is again, I do want to see him fight Loma again. To pretty much prove to boxing fans, because that's pretty much what it will be, is proving to boxing fans that he can beat them definitively. But I don't think Tank's gonna lose a fight. And I think that he should be at least in the top 5 or 6 pound for pound best fighters.
I'll have him around 7. I think 7 is fair. Around 6 or 7 is fair, but those top 5 dudes, man.
You talking about
that list, man.
Spencer, and Bud? They're gonna be,
man.
These guys gonna be performed, of course.
Yeah.
So top 5 what's your take, bro? What's your take on the fight? And then we can jump into Errol Spence and Terrence.
Me personally, I think Lomachenko won, but I can see why they gave it to Devin Haney because, all right, so the first round, Devin Haney did take control first round. You know what I'm saying? It's early, it's fresh, and obviously Devin Haney is a stronger puncher. However, every round between the first and 12th round, me as a fan, I'm going to go with Lomachenko. But you have to see in between them rounds where it was like, because Devin Haney, he just had them counter punches and them. It was kind of like that Mayweather versus Pacquiao effect. Like you could tell Devin Haney, he was playing passive and he was just waiting for the open up. However, Lomachenko, he opened Devin Haney up way more. He heard him at the end. And it was like he just had Devin Haney all the way figured out. And it got to a point where all Devin Haney could do was throw that right body hook. And then after a while, you started seeing that was his only go-to. Like Devin Haney, like, for example, it was one blow where basically Devin Haney was prepared for that right, you feel me, that right jab. So what he did, he tried to go under it and throw the uppercut. But it was just the fact that Lomachenko's fist is right here in your face. Yep. And as soon as Devin Haney even thought about throwing a punch, jab straight to the head, like quick. And Lomachenko just had him figured out all match. But that 12th round really was the deciding factor out there. I said, after that 11th round was over, I said, if he don't knock Devin Haney out, Devin Haney got it. And it was just the fact that even when Lomachenko even got close to even having an edge, Devin Haney kind of like took it away from him by still like applying that pressure. You know what I'm saying? Just to give him the edge enough to walk away with the win, because you seen he wasn't sure about it while they was, you feel me, at the end of the fight. You seen he wasn't sure. But it was just the fact that, you know what I mean, he just survived and he was able to just, you know, keep throwing them, you know, like as if he wasn't affected. He played it off like he wasn't getting beat up. And that's how he got that win. But really, Loma was putting them hands on that man, like all the way. And then as the smaller fighter too, like you're not even cop diesel like Devin or nothing. And he's coming at you. He coming straight at you. To be honest, yeah, Devin Haney, I don't think he's ready for Tank at all. I don't even think he's ready for Shakur. I really don't like the way Devin Haney fights. I really don't wait. I don't. I really don't, bro. I don't think like Loma said, he's really not a pound for pound fighter, bro. He's really not, and he has no power. He don't got no power. How you gonna knock Tank out? You don't got no power.
He's got 20. What is that? 30. How many fights has he had? He's at 29 wins, and
it should be no reason.
27 KOs. He got power, yo.
Bro, Loma was eating them body. eating them body hits like they was chicken sandwich. He even said it at the end of the fight. Like, I mean, he's just not a pound for pound fighter. Like, he's just not. And I seen that. I really did. And I already had my little questions about Devin Haney already. But after watching that Loma fight, nah, he gonna get exposed trying to fight Tank. And like, not to just get off the topic, but like Adrian Broner, he actually witnessed them. Like, he witnessed them spar, and he said Tank almost knocked him out. Tank almost knocked him out. They had to walk on the ring, in the ring, and he said, "Yeah, this is with practice gloves and with head equipment. But without that, if it's a real fight, bye, Devin. Devin going to sleep. You know what I mean? Like, Tank's power is too much."
So my take on my biggest problem with the Loma Haney fight, you feel me, is, bro, Loma is 35 years old, bro. Exactly. You are young and in your prime. I was expecting you to punish his ass. Exactly. It shouldn't have been that close in my mind, you feel me, as far as the hype behind Devin Haney's career, all the belts and all that. I felt like he should have fought way better than he did against Loma, being a 35-year-old, and don't quote me on this, but I don't think he fought in a long time either. So this was his first fight coming back since the dinosaurs was here. You get what I'm saying? Could have really beat you. You get what I'm saying? Like, I think Devin Haney's a great fighter. You get what I'm saying? But I do think it was a couple things that Loma kind of figured out. And to what Q was saying, Loma pretty much said once he felt Devin Haney's most powerful punch, he knew that it wasn't going to knock him out. So that kind of made him more confident as far as stepping in. You get what I'm saying? And being able to take the shots. But Devin Haney got power. I'm not going to say he don't got power. These are professional boxers. If they were any regular human right now, we probably curl up. You feel me?
Yeah, like, I know. Yeah. Most definitely.
I definitely think they got power. But last 5, you feel me, into the show. Once again, I want to thank everybody on the live stream. I want to thank SpazzTheGreat for being a great guest, you feel me, on the show. Neil and Tall Q, y'all know we here every Friday and Sunday. Yes, I want to end it, you feel me, with SpazzTheGreat, and I want to really get your opinion on this Errol Spence and Terrence Crawford fight. Like, what do you think is going to go down? Who do you got winning? This might be the fight of the year.
Mm-hmm. I think it goes to decision.
Mm-hmm.
I think the fight goes to decision. I think that both are really, really good fighters. I'm gonna go back to your point about Lomachenko and Devin. Both of those guys are tremendous fighters. So I wasn't expecting any of those guys to knock anybody out. It's gonna come down to who puts together good rounds. Who's gonna put together a decent round in order to and take it to the scorecard. We're not talking about we're talking about technical boxes here. We're not talking about George Foreman and, Tyson Fury. We're not talking about guys like that. We're talking about guys who are going to stand in the ring and they're going to massage it out. They're going to try to figure out. It's the same shit that Gervonta does. When people say, Gervonta Davis will knock him out in the first round, like, yo, that's not Gervonta Davis' game. Mm-hmm. He fought under Floyd Mayweather for years. That's not his game, bro. He's going to go in there. He's going to analyze you for the first 4 or 5 rounds. Come round 6 through 8, that's when you are most prone to get knocked out, because then by then he'll have you timed up. You know what I'm saying? So I honestly see this thing going to a decision. I don't even like to see people get knocked out in these mega fights. I like to see it go to the very end. I want to see all 12. I want to see all 12 because I want to see who's going to put together better rounds, who's going to put together good combinations, who can survive getting knocked down, who's going to get up, right? When Ryan Garcia got, when Tank hit Ryan with that body shot, I'm like, oh man, I really want him to get up, but we've seen that story before. We've seen that happen. We've seen Ryan Garcia knock out Luke Campbell the same way with that same body shot, right? Yeah. So, you know what I'm saying? I don't want anybody to get knocked out. So I'm going to say decision. That's what it's going to be. If you want me to give you a winner, I don't know, because I think that either one of them could beat each other.
All right, 1:50 left is on y'all to Q and Neil.
I'm gonna just leave it short. I'm gonna go Bud. But I'm gonna go. It's gonna be as close of a fight as Haney and Loma was. It's not going to be one-sided at all, man. I can't wait for the fight. Just like I couldn't wait for the Devin Haney and Loma fight because I knew, just like what Spaz said, I get it. Like these boxers are great. Nobody wants to lose. They're going to try to figure each other out. Who's going to be too late? Who's going to be too early? It's technical. So I agree, Spaz. Same thing. But I'm going to give a slight edge to Bud because he's a little more aggressive. But they're both aggressive. So I don't know. All right. That's for me. Q?
Yeah, I'm probably gonna go. Yeah, I'm probably gonna go with. I don't know, bro. I'm gonna just go with the. I'm gonna just go with the champ, bro. I'm gonna have to, bro, because at the end of the day, it's starting to seem like E-Raw, Spence Jr. He's just trying to like prove himself, kind of. It's like he's trying to play catch up. I don't know, bro. I just like. They're just like the same fighter to me, bro. Like I just don't know, bro. Like it's like they could really it could go either way. Like I really just don't want to get on here and just say a bunch of BS. So I'm gonna just go ahead and say like, yeah, it can go either way. Like
10 seconds.
Just to give y'all that, so I'm going with the chat.
And I'm going Earl Spence too. Make sure y'all like and subscribe, man.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right, everybody still can hear me. Everybody still on here?
Yeah.
Appreciate y'all, man. You feel me? Like this shit was a great fucking experience. Y'all, Spaz, you already know how we do. You feel me? So you see how it is when it's just me and you, and now we got Neil and Tall Q on here. You feel me? So the personalities is great, man. You feel me? I always start working on the videos right away, and I'll send you all of the clips that I come up with, so you can have your own clips to post and shit. But this is a great episode, bro. It got a little heated. You feel me?
Yeah, Spaz, you're a great podcaster, bro. Like,
yeah, you are.
You're good at this, bro. I can honestly say you're really good at this. You know
Look
what I'm saying?
smile though.
It's just the experience, yo. It's because remember, I've been doing this for a while, yo. So I know what people want to hear, how they want to hear it. But while also giving your actual take on stuff, right? And so what I was telling Boot earlier is that when you come to the table, in order to gain fans, in order to gain the trust of the fans, they have to know that you know what you're talking about. Right. And when it comes to basketball, that's why or any sports that we know, that's why I mentioned stats. That's why I mentioned different series and different plays and different things like that, because they want to know that you did your homework on the stuff that you're talking about before you even jumped in. So with my fan page, y'all may have or may not seen it. My fan page has over 2,000 fans. You know what I'm saying? I still receive fan mail until this day. Right. Real Raven Talk with Ken. But it's just about the Baltimore Ravens. You know what I'm saying? So, for stuff like this, if you're going to outsource it to people, you have to make sure that you are prepared to jump in and have those kinds of conversations and talk about the intricacies of the sports, because you want to bring in those adamant sports fans, because those are the ones that are going to return. They the ones, you know what I'm saying, that they're going to return. They're going to seek your opinion. You're going to start getting fan mail like, hey, AQ, what you think about this, man? How you feel about this? Or hey Neil, or hey Boo, what you think about this? You know what I'm saying? You got to be ready to rebuttal, because when draft time come around, I'm getting fan mail all the time about that shit. So it's a really cool experience, you know what I'm saying? So I just like to bring my expertise wherever I can about this stuff, because it's just shit I fuck with.
Yeah, bro,
that's legit. That's legit. That's very legit.
One thing that I appreciate about Neil and Tall Q, bro, they give flowers, bro. They definitely don't hesitate to give
for sure.
Flowers,
yeah, no,
for sure.
They need to do that more.
Appreciate that.
By the way, all this stuff is the actual episode is done and is compressing right now, but we still on live YouTube right now, just to let y'all know.
Oh, that's what's up. I didn't even know.
Yeah, the episode is over. But of course, we all bros, you feel me? So that's why I left it on in case we wanted to still talk or whatever. But great episode, bro. Great episode.
Yeah.
Can I just say one thing?
Yeah.
Neil, what are you? Never mind, bro.
Save it for another episode.
That was about to be the dash. We can talk about it. talk about it, but we'll save it for another episode.
I might have to call you, yo. But no, matter of fact,
you gotta save it, yo.
I'm gonna just save everything. I'm gonna just save everything inside for the next
episode. That's why I be wanting y'all to bring topics to the table too, because we can talk about whatever y'all want to talk about too. It ain't gotta just be me.
Hey, look, hey, I gave one the boot earlier because Riley and Ryan Garcia agreed to fight.
Rolly and
Rolly?
Riley, yep, they agreed to fight.
We should have talked about that, bro.
I was, but y'all motherfuckers be dragging this shit out too long and shit. I don't want to be like,
bro, because when the conversations go on and we get because at the end of the day, bro, I'm going against what some of y'all saying, and then I'm just going. It's like a tree. It's like I'm a tree branch. Like I'll say something like in the beginning when he was talking about the Ravens and the receivers, I was like, I'm going to pick on y'all for being greedy. Like I didn't have to do that.
There ain't nothing wrong with that. I like that type of stuff. We just still gotta keep in mind that everybody gotta talk. So one person can't talk 10 minutes, and then next thing you know, the next 3 people got squeezed in 3 minutes.
Hey, Boo. One more thing for one more piece of advice for you as far as this is concerned. While you want to place this on YouTube for now should be your secondary source for outsourcing to fans. Here's why. What I did to build my fan base, and it does may or may not work for everybody, but you're a part of some of these sports pages and stuff that I'm a part of that has hundreds of thousands of fans. If you start a fan page on Facebook and when you go live on there and have people come on as guests, that also includes the fans. Remember, I used to do that when I would go live and I would say, hey man, after I get done one segment, I say, hey man, this is the section where we bring on fans, right? And then I would bring somebody on to speak their piece. And then I would talk to people from across the country and stuff like that about their opinions on it. So you want to post the live or the link to those fan pages so that they have something to refer to for you. I still do that now when I post on my fan page. Right. So that's something that you can use to help bring in more fans, bring in more views quicker, which will bring those people over to your YouTube channel. Trust me.
Great idea. We will definitely do that for sure. That's what we gotta do to make this shit pop, man. You feel me? Like I told Neil before this shit started, you feel me? Like my girl had asked me, you feel me, like what was my goal with this thing? And I said, my goal is to have everybody quit their regular job because that's how successful we become with this podcast.
No doubt.
Clip that. We're gonna play this back 5 years later when we in the mansions and the shits and everywhere. We're gonna play this back. Like, you remember 5 years ago? You bad. Yeah. You said this. Clip that.
Yeah. Right. But my phone about to die, so I'm probably about to go ahead and charge that.
We can definitely get it up out of there. Once again, SpazzTheGreat, man. Appreciate you.
Hey, listen. When I listen, if I decide to reboot my fan page like that, which I'm being asked to basically every week, you know what I'm saying? I'm gonna have to bring y'all on. Y'all gonna have some real viewers out there, and they gonna be ready. So I'm gonna have to pull some of the guys on. I've actually, what's funny? Because Tyrell is a Steelers fan.
Oh yeah.
And I brought Tyrell onto my fan page, which is a page full of Ravens fans. I got over 2,000. I had like over 150 people looking all at one time and shit. And he was talking his shit about the Steelers or whatever, and they was getting in his ass, bro. They was, but the thing is, they respected his opinions and everything because they knew he knew what he was talking about. You feel me? He wasn't just somebody that was just saying shit just to be saying shit. But that's what I'm talking about. If y'all got your individual fan pages and stuff like that, bring somebody over. Let's say we about to play the Chargers, and I bring Tall Q over on that week or whatever. We do a live episode together.
We played it.
That would go crazy.
It would.
Exactly. So that's just marketing, man. That's just understanding the crowd, understanding how to get to people, and just doing stuff together that can really make a difference. You see what I'm saying? Not only that, but the great part about it is that after you on Facebook, after you do those live episodes, they're automatically saved to your page, so fans can go back to those and look at them whenever they want to.
That's all right.
Yeah, I'm gonna definitely set up that food.
So yeah, but I mean, yeah, you know what I'm saying. But gentlemen, it's been a great one, man. I look forward to coming back on here again and doing that thing, man.
All right, man. We're definitely gonna have you on. We're gonna actually do some live streams too. We're gonna live stream some of the fights, some of the games. So we're gonna do a lot.
That's gonna be fun.
For sure, man. Keep it locked, man.
All right.
Sir.
All right,
All
man.
right, y'all.
All right, fella.
I'm about to call you, yo.
Already.
All right.